Well, good morning, everyone, and a huge apology for the late start. A couple of technical difficulties which we had the whole team working on, but hopefully we're back up and running now. Welcome to Wild Safari Live. My name's Hayden Turner, and I'm with my buddy here, Brian Joubert, on camera. And we're about to head off for another fantastic morning on the Djuma and Arathusa Game Reserves here in the world-famous Sabi Sands Nature Reserve here in South Africa. Pete is out looking for Q, the male leopard that he was on yesterday. We've just decided to come down to Buffelshoek Dam to have a little bit of a look. It's a beautiful morning, 15 degrees, about 60 Fahrenheit, so that for us is a little bit chilly. We've all got the jackets on this morning, and we're all feeling it. Eyes are streaming as we're driving along. For some of you, some in parts of the world, you'll probably say that's like kind of tropical, but for us here in Sabi Sands, it's a bit of a cool morning. So I've losing my voice as well, so excuse me coughing and spluttering now and again, but we'll get over that as well. Yesterday was an interesting day. We had a nice little leopard sighting, lots and lots of ellies yesterday, elephants, which I know everyone loves. So we'll see what the morning brings. I'm just going to drive up this area. This road in front of us here is what we call the Buffelshoek cut line. So there's one private nature reserve that side, and this is Djuma on this side. So we use this road quite frequently to get up to the dam. And I'm probably just going to head up there now and see what happens. If you'd like to ask us any questions, please send your questions to questions@wildearth.tv, or you can tweet us at hashtag SafariLive. And those questions are fantastic because this is all about you interacting with us and us interacting with you. The whole program is about us talking together, being on the vehicle together, and having a fantastic time in the bush. So without further ado, that magnificent sunshine is coming through, which I'm very happy about, Brian.
Oh, me too, me too.
We did have a little shiver on earlier, and we'll get on our merry way. So it's nice just to roll on down the road. I saw a couple of tweets last night that Pete sort of suggested that you ask me what animal brought me to Africa, and that's a really, really simple answer, and that coming from me is quite astonishing. A simple answer to a question. Just get through this bit because it's a little bit notorious here for a break-up in the signal. Was the black rhino, and I worked on a project in Zimbabwe, on a project that was translocating rhino. A lot of problems with rhino, and we were taking a gene pool back to Australia to have a breeding program going there, and that's what I did. And I started off in 1992 in Zimbabwe, in a beautiful area, and then carried on going to Zimbabwe, back and forth. We might just go down that road there, folks, sorry. I like that little road. And that was the animal. And then over a period of the last sort of 20 years, I have been working with loads of different species here and doing safaris and doing TV and working for National Geographic, and it's been a most amazing experience, an amazing journey. And I think what I want to share with you about that is that anyone can do it. Anyone can come and do this. Anyone can come and experience Africa or do what I do. You've just got to, it's just a journey that you have to go on. It might take some time. I'm nothing out of the ordinary, it's more about just the passion and the drive and the need and the want to do it. And the whole safari sort of experience, I just fell in love with when I was a child, watching programs on television when I was a kid. Now, people in North America will probably know who I'm talking about here. The program was shown in Australia as well, every Saturday or Sunday night, I can't quite remember. But it was a program called Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. And for me, Marlon Perkins was the man I wanted to be. I wanted to be that guy standing in front of Kilimanjaro, talking about elephants. I might not have chosen the same safari suits that he did in those days, but what a guy he was. He was an amazing man, and he had a sidekick by the name of Jim, I think it was. Well, Marlon Perkins was just this legend, and I really enjoyed that program, and it inspired me to do what I do now, really, and then coupled with the likes of, you know, David Attenborough and so on and so on. But it really was those programs on a Sunday night, sitting down. I'm just going quite slowly as I approach this dam here, folks, and just lowering my voice a little bit as well. Now, when you lower your voice, it might not really have that much of an effect because they hear the vehicle coming anyway. As long as you're not shouting and screaming and carrying on, you know, they're used to humans' voices. Most of the animals are very habituated to human voices, and it's not really a huge issue as long as you're not, as I said, screaming and carrying on. So in a nutshell, folks, that whole journey for me was through a fantastic program called Wild Kingdom, and I'd never forget it. It was one of those programs that just inspired me as a child to get out and get across the other side of the world and follow that dream. But here we are now in present day on this magnificent reserve. It's pretty quiet here this morning, but anything can happen at any time in the bush, and I think that's a really, really lovely anticipation that you constantly have inside you. You don't know what's around the next corner, and I say it all the time, and I know it's a bit of a catchphrase that I use, but it's very, very true. So many times Brian and I and VM and I have been driving around the reserve back in November, and sure enough, it's a bit quiet, and what happens? Leopard walks out, or you drive onto line. I remember one day I was with VM, and the guys that sit on the back, you know, the cameramen are just the most incredibly important part of this process, because they are your eyes in the sky. They can see a little bit higher than you. And I remember VM saw this tail flick of a lion just along that road. Actually, we came by then, and we were first on the location, and VM found a pride of about 9 or 10 lions on a buffalo kill, and we stayed with that buffalo kill for about 3 or 4 days. So really important. We all work as a team. Pete's an incredibly wonderful guy to work with when it comes to, you know, he just brings you in. He just knows what you love, and I know how much he loves leopard, and I really wanted to try and help him find that leopard last night, but we didn't have any joy. I think it's all working as a team, working with all the members of the crew and working together. I'm just going to stop talking for a second while we go through this dip. We're just going to have a little poke around here, put our nose into these little roads. And whilst we're doing that, we should cross over and talking about Pete. We should go over and see how he's going this morning. He's a passionate man. He certainly loves this. He's just great to be around. His enthusiasm washes over everyone, and I really, really enjoy working with him. So we should go and check out what he's up to. Whilst you do that, I'll have a look around here with Brian and see what we come up with, and we'll come back to you just now.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm actually going to stop for a second. And welcome here in South Africa. Hayden has already said good morning to you. Sorry, there's a little branch there. We've been off-roading a bit already, as we can see. Guys, welcome here to Djuma. It's lovely to have you on the vehicle. It's a beautiful morning, nice and, I wouldn't say cold, but certainly cool, nice and crisp. So lovely way to start the day. Also good for wildlife generally when it's cool like this. As the day warms up, you get activity going into the first, even the second and third hour of the morning. So looking forward to seeing what we can find. My name is Peter Pretorius, And it's, as always, a pleasure to have you as the guest on my vehicle. And behind the camera is Andrew. And we are looking around. You might even maybe not see the movement. There's one other vehicle looking around here as well. Yesterday, we had some reports of Tingana, the female leopard, the daughter of Karula, that was in the area. But I haven't seen anything yet. She might have moved. Many things can change during the night. But we are going to look around. Whoa. Did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? There's an elephant there as well. Elephants generally are a little bit easier to find than leopards. So I think we've got a good chance of finding her or him. Little rumble there. Let's go look around, see what we can find. It's going to be a good day. What day is today? Sunday. It's still the weekend. Also remember, you're welcome to ask questions. This is a live interactive game drive, and all game drives are and should be. Or you can just comment as well on things, or just say hello to the people on the vehicle next to you, with you. Hashtag SafariLIVE if you want to tweet, or you can email it to questions@wildearth. Elephant! Guys, and this is what you call a really quiet game drive. Remember that this vehicle doesn't make any noise. Just to show you the kind of off-roading we do, sometimes this can happen. This is from Arathusa Lodge, but look at that front wheel. We do some serious off-roading here. Look at this, even much better. Even much better. I do apologize, it's a second language for me. Elephants! Wait, let me turn the vehicle. It's really nice. It's a little herd, two large females, a couple of medium-sized ones. That female there, the one that's busy suckling the calf, that could possibly be her first calf. Standing by. Comus and Neil will join you shortly. We're just looking at these in love. You see? Two vehicles are better than one. Got some exciting news from Neil there. But I'm going to let you wait for that a little bit. We'll go see this now. In the meantime, we've got beautiful elephants around us. I like this one. He was curious the other day as well. We spent time with this herd about 2 days ago. Look at this one. It's got that little square in the bottom of the ear, that notch there is what I recognize this one from. And he was also a bit curious the other day. Look at the baby. This is the same baby that gave us the mock charge the other day as well. Hello. Morning, guys. Good morning. Look at this. Hello. Hello. Are you a bit curious? See, they're busy eating, but they are curious as well, so coming to have a look. Hey, little guy. And the little one obviously feeling. Look at how beautiful this one is, covering the youngster. Not that they're in danger or even are wary of us. These elephants know us by now. They decided to come have a look. They're a bit curious. Oh, this is just fantastic. We've got a half moon of elephants around us here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of them. Eating a little bit of acacia leaves there. Oh, look at that young one. So this is magic. Guys, elephants spend a large part of their day feeding. 16, 18 hours, 20 hours even. Not physically eating, but in the process of feeding. I mean, they pick a twig here and a branch there and some leaves there and some grass there and dig out the root, you know, so it's a constant process. A lot of the feeding, especially in summertime when it's very hot, they're very active at night as well. Very active meaning they're not running around, but just slowly going about their business. And this baby would still be drinking milk as well, would still be suckling, but also already adding into the diet with solid food. Sort of like my boy at the moment. He's also learning to eat solid food. At 6 months old, elephants, they start probably at around 3-4 months, they start eating bits of solid food. But we've got more than one surprise for you this morning. Elephants were a nice surprise. They told us about where they are with sound. Neil found us the other surprise. Let's go have a look. Here's what it is. Might have given it away a little bit earlier. I'm very, very excited to see what we're going to see now. I haven't seen her. Oh, give the tongue when we get there. Let's make sure it is what I think it is. Wow. Sure, guys. Prepare yourself for a postcard moment. Insane. Oh. What's that? Absolutely amazing. This is amazing. I haven't seen this leopard in many years.
There's another leopard there.
Have you seen that killed a servant?
I see ya.
Tell me how you recognize it.
Well, to be honest, just with where we are, size, I mean, obviously we know the age of the cub. And,
Isn't there a way counting the little spots closest to the nose or the...
yeah, no, the whisker spots there. Guys, Neil was just asking, I don't think he's seen this leopard for a long time as well. Guys, what a great surprise to come back to. I'm just going to go a little bit forward, Andrew. We've got 2 leopards here. One female leopard I saw last year in November, but I literally saw a patch of her skin. I never actually saw her. Look at that. Unbelievable. This is Tingana. Sorry, now called Shadow. Oh, okay, awesome, Andrew. Could you see that enough?
I just want to show the kill quickly.
I'm going to try and show you that again later on. That's the kill. Don't get a fright. It's not a leopard they've killed. It is a serval, which is something we never even see alive out here. Not never, but very seldom. We will try and show you that better again. But look at this. 2 leopards, the cub in the back, going at about 8 months old now. This is the oldest Shadow has been able to raise a cub too, so that's very exciting. Oh, beautiful. Not a very big cat. Her sister Tandi. Now these 2 leopards, sorry, just to explain why it's sort of reuniting for me. I knew these leopards very well when they were growing up. This was in the sort of earlier years of Djuma. Not of Djuma, sorry, I'm just thinking 2 things at the same time. This is the early years of Wild Earth at Djuma, that Karula was busy raising them. So we used to call it Tingana and Saseka. Tingana is now Shadow. It means the same thing, really, sort of similar meaning to the name. She's a little bit shy and elusive often. So this is a real treat to see her like this. Amazing. Small leopard, not very big. Oh, look at that. Guys, I really hope HT can get this side as well. I tried to call HT again. No, Hayden would love to see these leopards. I don't think he's ever seen Shadow. Confirm, Hayden. HT, I'm not sure where you are at the moment, but we've got a very cool opportunity here to see Shadow and the cub. Just south of Impala Plains Junction, if you're coming up, you'll see a branch on the right-hand side of the road if you're coming from the south. If you want to come in here, I'll give you a space as well as soon as you're closer. Yeah, I'm not sure what she'll get up to. So if you're not got anything specific, maybe just come straight this way. I'd love for you to get opportunity to see this cat. That's also interesting enough. Right, guys, just with opportunity like this. Firstly, how lucky were we here? That's I mean, if I was to drive through the bush here seeing nothing, I would see this tree and think, wow, imagine seeing a leopard on that branch. And that's what we just did. Down. Guys, I want to try and show you the serval again. Neil, you haven't seen this cat for a long time, huh? That's the cub from Karula from about, how old is that now? 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. The one that you guys see more, I think, is Tandi, huh? Yeah. It's her sister. I'm going to try and... We're going to just try and show you the serval, and then I want to see where that leopard's going. We are right on the sort of edge of one of our areas, so just not quite hearing final control that well. If you have questions and I'm not getting them at the moment, we will get to them as soon as I can hear them properly. But this is very interesting what they've killed here. Also interesting, they didn't eat it. They've only killed it. At a quick glance, you might think... In fact, let me make sure it is a serval. Just have a look there. For a second I thought it might be a baby cheetah. Get it a bit closer. Normally you just don't want to jump out now. Yeah. Sorry, one more look there. Well, guys, it's fairly common for predators to kill other predators. I mean, lions, leopard, hyena, they all kill each other at some stage or another. They kill each other's offspring sometimes. Yeah, there's a serval. Amazing. But they don't normally eat each other. Hyenas will sometimes eat other predators if they've killed them. There has been recorded cases of leopard eating leopard cubs when they've killed them, but it's very rare. Normally they just kill them to eliminate competition. Even though their niches vary slightly, they are still eating essentially, the same food. Sorry, I'm just thinking a bunch of things at the same time. But I'm really happy to have seen this leopard, and not only that, Shadow can be a very tricky character to see. She's a little bit of a slippery customer sometimes, and that's been since cub. I mean, since they were babies with Karula, she was always the shy one. And her sister, Tingana, sorry, I still refer to the old name sometimes. Her sister Tingana was the one that was sort of the extrovert, sort of social personality. Sorry guys, I'm moving around. I just want to find our best view. Antenna, all right. Bobs again. Guys, just to update you, sorry, my radio might be down again. South from Impala Plains, just past the power line crossing. Slightly on Mandela, you head into Boyatela west, east a little bit. 2 mobiles unlocked, 3rd mobile that easy has broken down, so no more lungus. with Shadow is she's not unhabituated. Oh, the cub is, oh, they're eating. Oh, they've got another kill. Wow, very interesting. So it's not that sorry guys, I'm going to keep apologizing for getting the names mixed up. I just call these leopards a slightly different name for so long. For Shadow, it's not that she's wary of vehicles. She's perfectly habituated, the same as her mother, Karula, the same as Quarantine, or the same as Tandi. Just that she's quite often secretive. In other words, she would hide in the thick bush if she wants to. But this morning, we spoiled because she's out in the open. And
see the cubs on a baby steenbok.
A baby, Neil?
Yeah, well, on a
Little one.
steenbok.
That's amazing. Okay, we're going to try and show you. Sorry.
Cheers, Pete.
All right, I think let me catch up with myself here. It was one of those things where lots was happening, and I really couldn't believe my eyes when I saw Shadow up on the branch like that. She's sort of just relaxing down in the grass there, but let's try and show you. It's not a great visual. It is under some thick cover. But if you look there, that's the cub. Now, it's my first time really seeing this cub. I presume it's, or not presume, I know it's about 7 going on 8 months old. I haven't been able to sex it myself. Guys, you that know these leopards very well, if a couple of you could just let me know a little bit of information about it, that would be great. But as I said, very exciting. It's the oldest that Shadow has successfully raised the cub so far. And this cub is now at the stage 7, 8 months where it's going to start learning to hunt a little bit, how to protect the food by hiding it either under a bush like this or up in a tree. Hiding the kill under a bush is also very successful. They don't want to be found by other predators, so by being hidden, that gives them a better chance already. And also, it puts them out of view from aerial viewers, vultures, eagles, things that might give them. I was just telling me, they've just left with the other vehicle, but they could see from the other side, it looks like a young steenbok. So not a very large kill, but enough certainly for both of these cats to get it decently full of food. Great observation, Lynn. Good morning. Well, good late evening for you in Michigan. Lynn is just asking a question based on observation. And those, you know what, back where I'm training up some guides for what we do now, and it's something that in my early days of guiding, my great mentor and great friend now, Benedict Clark, and later on Gus and those guys, they always said, you know, if you could talk about what is actually going on, if you could observe and then understand what's going on there, that is much more interesting than just the pure facts. So Lynn is saying she's noticed before and seeing it again that Shadow is not putting the kill under up in a tree like we would see often with other leopard, and just asking why. But we going to discuss that again shortly, because I think that's a great question. Just give me a few seconds, and we're just waiting for a few more people to join us. And I want them to hear it as well. First light coming through now, beautiful. Look at it, just almost like a little beam of light right on Shadow there, which I guess you could call ironic, since her name is Shadow. What a brilliant situation here for us. So now that we've settled down and slowed down a bit, we've got a nice spot to sit just to sort of organize all the conversations we had in the last bit. And I think it ties in beautifully with your question. Lynn from Michigan was asking just now, she's noticed before with Shadow when they've seen her that the carcass or the kill is kept under a tree. Saw it with an impala a while back. Now many leopards take the kills up into a tree, and there's some big trees around here, so it's not for lack of a place to sort of put the carcass. But Lynn, some leopards just have a different habit from others. Shadow, having always been a little bit shyer, maybe not wanting to be out in the open as much, has done that a lot in the past. Trying to remember now, but there's been other leopard around here, even male leopard, that had this habit as well. So it does depend a little bit on the preference almost of the individual, and also the habits they've learned. But hiding it under a thick tree like this, under a sort of lush bush, is also good cover. It doesn't need to be up in a tree. Up in a tree means hyenas can't climb up. Lions potentially could. Other leopard, very importantly, could as well. Hiding it under a tree like this, I'm going to just show you there. There you can see the bush that it's under. I'm going to show you the cub right in there. Hiding it like this means it's not likely to be discovered by anyone. And that's good. Birds aren't going to see it. And another leopard or lion or hyena would have to really walk close past to see this. So it could be in part that she's trying not to attract the attention of potentially other leopard. And then, as I said, it is in part also just the habit of it. They're busy eating, or the youngster at the moment, this cub is busy eating a young steenbok. We couldn't see it from here, but another vehicle could see it earlier. And they've also killed, but not eaten, a serval. Beautiful cat, a serval. It's a little bit sad, but a serval looks like a sort of a miniature cheetah almost. Beautiful, beautiful cat. But they purely killed it. Maybe it came around to investigate the kill or something, and it's competition for them. So it's not something they're likely to eat, but one less predator to compete against. HT for Peter. Hey, sorry, my radio was a little bit down. Are you on Triple M yet? Yeah, keep going to Triple M Junction and then turn up towards the north. And if you're going along a ways before you get to Impala Plains, but you'll see it clearly. You'll see the vehicle tracks turning off to the right. So back into Voyatella off Triple M. There's a little branch as well. And then as soon as you start turning in there, you'll start seeing us. At the moment, just us here. I haven't had anyone else respond. I know Susie and them were asking earlier. I haven't heard from them again. Guys, just everyone update all stations. My radio might be down, but the next mobile can just pull in. We are on Triple M south of Impala Plains. There's a Slashla on the road. Into Voyatella, Tingana, Shadow and Mampimpan on Bamba. Next mobile to arrive, welcome to just pull in. Sharp Ephraim, is the lineup at the moment? Yeah, straight on for. But yeah, if you come here, you can pull in, and if you can handle the lock for me, I'll make space. When for HT, I'll give you my space. All right, guys, sorry, just a bit of organizing there. Maybe if you haven't done many drives with us, a very key, important part of the experience of finding wildlife here is the vehicles working together. Without the radio communications, without us helping each other, we wouldn't see half the game we do. So we're just talking to the other vehicles, letting them know what's going on, arranging who's going to come have a view. And there are quite a few vehicles, you can imagine. There's a leopard and a cub to see. But when Hayden gets closer, I'm going to give him my spot so that he can get in here and see them as well. And we'll go look around some more. But yeah, I'm just excited. You've probably heard I'm excited. I'm talking over myself sometimes. Just so lovely to see this cat. Good question as well, Renee. Good morning. Renee's just asking if this is maybe the cub's first kill. Let me just put this into perspective. This cub is about 8 months old now. This cub would it's highly unlikely that it would have made the kill. So this would have been mum that made the kill. Probably not even with the cub with her. Maybe the cub was hidden somewhere and then would fetch the cub and bring it to the kill. Although at 7-8 months, the cub will start joining the adult for the hunts as well, just to start learning. But not likely that this kill was made by the cub. But Renee, also at the same time, not impossible. There was an amazing case a few years back with a leopard cub that I think the mum was killed. I forgot the details. Some of you guys that follow all the leopards of the Sabi Sands would know the story. But the cub ended up being on her own or his own. I can't remember the sex of it. This is just a story from years back. And I think at 8 months it was solitary and it survived. It managed to reach maturity and go on. So it's not impossible for a leopard cub to survive at 7-8 months on its own, but very, very tough order. But this one doesn't have to worry about it because he's got a fantastic mother in shadow. She's got the genetics coursing through her veins all the way back to Safari, the female that I know, which was Karula's mother. So that would be Shadow, Tundi, Q, Kunyuma, Mishon and Duna, other leopards we knew very well. That would be the grandmother to all of them. Let's talk to this Ganzo. Ephraim, if you go a little bit to your left, you'll get I think you get a good view where Neil was sitting, other side from me. Okay, Aubrey, yeah, if you famba straight, Mafazi Ingwela, and then under the red bush willow is the Mampimpan Kojari. Guys, I see HT in the distance, and HT, you got the turn off there, yeah. Just come in there, mate, and then if you come around the termite mound, you can take my spot here. Oh, I know that Hayden's got a little surprise around his leopard for you as well. Yeah, I presume you've turned in there now. I just saw your vehicle. So if you take those tracks in, and then just come around, as you're coming in, go to the right of the brown cruiser and around the back of this termite mound, and then you'll see me. So lots of different planning here, but as I said, there's a little surprise that HT has got in store for you guys surrounding these two leopards, specifically about the one that we're looking at now. But I'm going to leave it at that. Hayden can tell you about that. Because I think what I'm going to do is from our side, at least for now, I'm going to say goodbye to these two leopards. I'm just super, super happy to have seen Shadow and the cub and to have seen them so absolutely beautifully out in the open. And by the same token, happy that HT can come and have a look as well. Worst ways to spend your morning in the bush. Great elephant herd, 50 yards behind us. Great leopard with the cub.
Mate, how amazing. How amazing.
Very happy. And I'm
so
very
tell me
happy
what the story is. Fill me in.
Very happy that. Sorry, there's lots of radios all at once.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it. Enjoy.
Okay.
Shadow and the youngster.
Shadow and the Babe.
Yeah, but we saw...
Amazing.
Let me show you how they were when we arrived.
Oh,
It's
super.
like this when we arrived, so
Wow.
we're very lucky.
Thanks, big guy. Thank you
Enjoy
so
it.
much. Eh?
Have fun.
Yeah, thank
See
you.
you a bit later. There's some
Yeah.
Ellies around as well, but they've gone that side.
Thanks.
All right, guys, enjoy it with H. It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
See you later.
Fantastic. Wow, guys. This is incredible. We're just going to go and pop ourselves into the nice and gently find her. So just behind that little tiny bush there, it's a little bit hard to see here. And I'm just gonna turn the vehicle off just to get her used to us. I don't want to disturb her. I don't want to get her to move, or I would never get her to move, but accidentally make her move. So you can just see through there. And I know that the image isn't absolutely clear for you because of the vegetation in front, but the most important thing is that we just get her acclimatized to the vehicle. They are very, very conditioned to the vehicles and habituated, as we've always said. But, you know, if you drive a vehicle up really close, obviously the animal's going to move, and that's not what we want. Now, I think the cub is there as well. I'm not sure. I can't see from here. So we're just going to sit tight. What the situation was then is Pete has given up his spot for us to come in, and what a honourable thing that was to do. That was just so lovely of him, because you know we have to manage the vehicles on a leopard sighting, so everyone gets a turn. But there was quite a lineup. I was on the other side of the reserve, and by the time I got here, there was already 3 or 4 people in the lineup. Now, never ever think that is a, oh goodness, a poor animal, lots of different vehicles coming in. There's a seriously strict code of conduct when it comes to viewing these animals, and everyone adheres to that code of conduct. We stay the correct distance, we make sure we don't disturb the animals, and it's really a great thing that people do adhere to. So please always know that the animal's best interests are at heart for us, and we'll make sure that as many people can see these beautiful creatures and know how important they are, where they fit into the ecosystem in the big picture. But back to Shadow. She's got she hasn't had the best of luck in the past with her raising her cubs, sadly, but she's doing her best, and I think this cub that she's got at the moment, I'm not sure if the cub's here, but I think the cub that she does have is getting to a better age than the rest have, and I just want to try and get you a better image of it, Brian. But let's just let Ephraim over there get into position. He's a wonderful guy that just pushed us to the side and let us in now. So, Shadow, this is the first time I've seen Shadow since I've been back. I only saw her a couple of times in November. She's quite elusive, but she's becoming more, sightings are becoming more frequent as she's getting more confident. I suppose when she had that cub, she laid low. But there's been some lovely sightings. The guys, Scotty and Brent and the others have told us about some of the beautiful sightings they've had with her. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on here. But the intelligence is that she's killed a serval. Now, servals are really interesting. Another interesting feline in Africa that you don't see very often. It just goes to show they will hunt other carnivores or other predators. They're opportunistic, and they're quite incredible. Nice big yawn there. So really thank Page Gesture, because I haven't seen Shadow for a long time, and he wanted to get us in here to see Shadow as well. So hats off, really lovely thing to do.
This one, the name is Ephraim.
I don't think so.
Sure, he's the one. Calling Ephraim, you can play it. My people is the William. You know William don't in the Frank. Even those names don't make it. Here we get him Harry. We get Terry, also Terry, the one of our teachers.
Got a question from Linda and Nancy. I think, Linda, you're in Minnesota. Welcome aboard, and fantastic to have you with us. I'm sorry, I'm not sure where Nancy is or whether you're in Minnesota too, but Nancy and Linda, welcome aboard and great to have you with us.
I think it's nowhere can be. Let's see from here. Let's try, just like.
And the question you've got, both of you, is whether the cub will still be nursing at this age. And this cub is about 7 months from what we can gather, and it's a male from what we can gather as well. It won't be nursing. They're weaned at about 3 months, and it really does depend the relationship with the female. Sometimes they can be sort of hanging around in that mother's home range for up to 22 months, but they're definitely not suckling anymore. So I don't know where the cub is. I don't know whether they're together. I can't quite see from here. Can you see, Brian, from where you are, if there's another?
Unfortunately not.
Another animal there, because I can't quite see from here. But we'll definitely we're on her now, and we'll stick with her, and we'll get to know more about her. But maybe some of you could help me with some of the history as well. But we really I learned so much about these cats from you. Many of you watching and have watched Wild Earth and Wild SafariLIVE for so long have a lot of information out there. So anything you want to email in and send to me that you can help me with, that would be really appreciated. I haven't been with Shadow a lot at all. All I know is she's hasn't had a great success with her litters. She is the daughter of Karula, and any other information would be really fantastic from you. So if you want to pop that in an email, or a couple of text messages, some short, sharp facts for me, that would be really appreciated, folks. That is Karula. Now, if you just scan across, mate. Sorry, Shadow, that is. I do apologise. If you just pan around to the right, and under this bush willow here on the right, I can hear the cub just under in there. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Just in there, if you stop there, the cub is eating. You can see a little bit of movement in there. The cub is eating a steenbok. Now, I'm just going to gently, I don't want to have two cars running at the same time. It's really hard to see, Brian.
Yeah, I can see it there.
It's just in there, and there is the cub. So we do have both the animals. How fantastic is this? Wow, wow, wow. This is beautiful. We're obviously going to be able to get a better view. We're going to stick with both of these animals for a while, so let's just be patient and just stick with what's going on. The other vehicles have got good view. Eating a steenbok. This is fantastic. So we're sitting, oh, she's just sat up now, she's sat up. We're sitting with Shadow and her cub, and this is what I've been waiting to see as well. I've really wanted to see these two. They're a little bit elusive. Shadow doesn't have a fantastic history of raising her cubs successfully. This cub is about 7 months old. She's the daughter of Karula, and the cub is over under a tree eating a steenbok at the moment, which is a small antelope. Really nice size little meal for the cub, and she's keeping an eye, a really close eye, because as everyone probably watching knows, there's inevitably going to be an arrival of, well, not inevitably, but more than likely an arrival of our friends the hyena. There's normally hyena trailing these guys after a kill. So she's just keeping her eyes open, looking around, making sure, because if there was an opportunity, a hyena or wild dog would potentially take her cub and even her. So it's a really, really dangerous situation for her to be in. Every day is a dangerous move. When you're coming out, your cub is under a tree, eating, devouring a steenbok, and you've got to keep your eyes peeled for any other predators approaching. The gestation period is around 90 to 100 days, and as I said, the cubs are weaned about sort of 3-ish months on, and it really is a matter of then just survival and trying to get through for these guys. Got a lot of predators on the reserve at the moment. A huge So we've got a question from Bud in Iowa. Lovely to have you aboard with us this morning, mate, and thanks for watching. And your question is you want to know whether the cub is male or female, and if it has a name yet. Well, the cub actually is a male, that's confirmed. It doesn't have a name yet, and it is definitely getting to an age where it could be looking like it's going to survive, but anything can happen, and that jeopardy that sort of is in the raising of your litter, your cub or cubs, is always paramount and always in their mind. There's so many predators around, and so many animals that could actually kill your cubs, so you've got to be on standby constantly to
We landed these things last night, but we don't even get to view them.
Sorry, mate?
I said we landed these buffaloes in the Matuan the whole day yesterday. It's the first time we get to view them. We got in here last night, whatever. That happened at the Morba. By the time we can even get into here this morning, 5,000 vehicles is pushing me out. Cool, man. Take this up.
Just talking to one of the other guides, and he's just been waiting for a while to see. They've been tracking these guys all day yesterday. We just had an email through from Bob. Thank you very, very much, Bob, for all that information. Really great. Oh, look at her. She is so beautiful. She's picking up the scent of something. Really, really fantastic, Bob. And Bob's given me great information about she is the granddaughter of Safari, the daughter of Karula, and this is her longest living cub, so we're really excited about that. Look at her, she's so beautiful. She's definitely picked up the scent of something. I'm just going to see if we can get a little bit better view of the cub. So I'm just going to try and reposition the vehicle inside there. It's very tricky to see it. Brian's zooming in right now, and you can just see him just starting to feed there. There we go. There we go. So that's the little guy there. Very tricky to see. The radio communication in this area at the moment is really, really difficult to hear the radios at the moment, so I can't really pick any comms up from Pete, but for some reason the spot we're in, folks, is really, really tricky to pick up even the radio comms from the guides or anyone. So we're sort of just sitting here on our lonesome at the moment. We've got another vehicle that is just there on standby. and I don't really want to move in any closer. It would definitely disturb the cub. At the moment, he's completely fine with us being here. She's completely fine with us being here as well. So I think we should just sit pretty here and just enjoy what we've got. Now you may hear my camera go up a little, off a little bit now. I'm just going to try and take a couple of photographs of Karula. Karula. I keep calling it Karula because she's Karula's daughter of Shadow. A little bit of scratching around. So I'm just going to try and take a few photographs, folks. If you do hear a bit of clicking carrying on, I do apologise. It's always good to just try and get a couple of ID. And what we do is, you know, as when we're doing this job, we try and pick up as many photographs as we can, because when we go back to wherever we come from, they're great to have an ID when you need to just brush up on who's who. It is very, very difficult to ID leopards if you're not with them constantly, but there is a technique which we talked about the other day, and if you go onto the Wild Earth Facebook page, you can see the techniques that is used by scientists and avid leopard specialists and researchers with the spot pattern on the top whisker row of their faces are normally unique to each individual leopard. But for us, sometimes it's really great just to be asking you. That's what this is all about. You know probably more about these leopards than many of us because you've watched these leopards for many years, and that's what the fantastic thing about Wild Safari Live is. We can interact with you. You can help us with the IDing of the leopards, and it just makes the whole process and the whole encounter much more interesting and much more interactive. We get the conversation going, and I learn loads from you about these leopards, and it is always really, really exciting when you get the chance to be with a mother and cub, and really exciting that this cub has gotten to the age that it is. So if you've just joined us, we're sitting with Shadow and her cub at the moment. And Shadow is a female leopard that is really, really beautiful. She hasn't had a great success with her past litters. This is the oldest cub she's had to date. She is the daughter of Karula, granddaughter of Safari, and a really, really beautiful, beautiful leopard. A little bit shy compared to the others, but she's really in good form this morning. I don't know if you can see the back of her head there, Pete. Bri. But really delicate, just moving around to the left. She's just sitting down over there. A much more sort of... she's looking around, lovely. I don't want to move any closer just because, or move the vehicle again, because we're in a lovely spot here. But she's the features on the females are much more delicate, much more elegant, I'd probably put, and the males have got a much more buffier, square, chunky head. But really beautiful. at a glance, if you saw her at a glance and you're in the bush, you could mistake her for a cheetah, just the back of that head there. Hi Connie. Connie's in Iowa sending us a question. Really lovely to have you on board, and thank you for your question. It's a really nice concept and a great sort of philosophy or theory that you've got. Would the eating the prey on the ground lessen the risk of the scent being carried and other predators or scavengers? You definitely do get animals picking up scent on the wind at those higher up in trees, but what happens is the situation with putting it up in a tree is you can store it for later, and you do have that distinct advantage of being able to go up into a tree and eating it. The height or the trees that are around here aren't quite big enough for her to do that, and there's no sort of good trees for it. She would have had to drag that kill quite a way, or carry that kill, quite a ways to get it up into an appropriate tree, and it might have been too high. Well, I'd probably say that the cub would have been able to get up there as well, but I think they just wanted to get into it as quickly as they could. But nice theory, and I think I'd go along with that for sure. But really, really nice to think strategically like you're thinking there, Connie. So thank you very, very much for your question, and hope you're enjoying the drive this morning. Excuse me, please. A question from Elizabeth in Minnesota. Elizabeth, very, very interesting question as well. These two questions and many of the others as well, but the last one and this one, philosophical or sort of theory questions about what your potential sort of theories and strategies are behind thinking of the effects that we have on watching these animals, and your question is whether the vehicles, other predators or scavengers, predators, they're all predators, have a following of the vehicles, in the sense that they're connecting that when there's a vehicle, there's a potential that with a leopard with a kill. So sorry to rephrase that without making it as convoluted as I just did. Do predators associate the vehicles with a potential kill? I would have to say I don't think that actually is. They do that because they see vehicles so many times during the day. They would have to be chasing, vehicles all over the place. And I think the repetition of us not being with the kill and just looking at, for example, looking at hoofed animals, like watching elephants or buffalo or something like that, would result in us not being with an animal that's already been killed. So I think the numerous times that we're not watching leopards and lions on kills would combat that theory. But I do understand what you're saying about maybe the number of vehicles. I don't know, but I think that it'd be an evolutionary thing, that it would take a very, very long period of time for them to change their behaviour and learn that. But it's an interesting theory. Do we associate? Do the predators associate the vehicles with kills? I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't, but I think that they'd probably pick up the scent and the noise, maybe. Who knows? But it's a good theory. It's an interesting theory, and great to hear people thinking like that and understanding that we do have an impact, and that impact is minimal, but the payoff is that the little impact that we do have on these reserves is that we actually can bring people and pictures to people to understand how important this habitat is and how important this wildlife is. So it's a really, really important thing to know that there is always going to be a payoff. As soon as human puts a foot on the ground, there's always going to be an impact, but I think the payoff is definitely outweighs that small impact that we do have. The whole tourism wildlife sort of conversation is a really interesting one. You can't have one without the other, in a way. I mean, these protected areas, one of the reasons why these protected areas are here is because of tourism. So it's they both assist each other, and you know, in my sort of utopian dream of these vast tracts of land where animals roam, you need those to go hand in hand, and that's why we're sitting right where we're sitting today. Wow, she's just coming out. The cub's coming out now, Brian. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that great? So Shadow has just walked in back to where that Steenbok kill is, and the cub, who is absolutely spectacular, just back to the left. Brian has got a really lovely little pose for us now. Looking, he's going back in with his mum. No, he's just going to clean himself there. Just laid down. He might be a little bit out of your vision, but you've got a nice shot of his face. And now Mum's dragging out. Mum's dragging the kill back out and around, and she's going to have a bit of a feed on it herself. So great behaviour to watch here, folks. Really nice. Shadow has just sat there and kept an eye out for her cub, whilst her cub has devoured as much as he can eat. And now she's going in to finish off and eat as much as she can. She may store it up a tree. There is a couple of smaller trees around to the side here, but once they've finished eating as much as they can, I think the carcass will be easy enough to carry, and we'll just see what happens. But we're going to stay with them. We're going to be right here, and we're going to sit with these two beautiful cats, and I'm pretty sure you're all fine with that. So we're sitting with these two beautiful cats, if you've just joined us. Shadow and her cub, her 7-month-old cub, and we're really privileged to be sitting here whilst they finish off a stingbok, which is a small antelope that Shadow has killed. And we've got a question from Sandy in Texas. Welcome aboard, Sandy, and great to have you with us this morning. Sandy wants to know, is Shadow in Karula's territory? Well, the territories do overlap. Shadow's territory is more on Arathusa than it is over here on Juma, but she is sort of overlapping into her mother's territory slightly. And the territories aren't exclusive. They do have overlapping areas, that's for sure. And the territories can range, goodness, from incredible amounts. It's the size really depends on food availability and the concentration of leopards. But it's there. They can range from in the single units of square miles to, up to 40. 50 miles, and I have to do those conversions for you, but they're always dependent on food availability and concentration of leopard. There's some incredible places in the world where the leopard concentration is just phenomenal, and they tolerate each other, and obviously there's going to be skirmishes between males and etc., but there's a very, very high density in a couple of areas of Asia as well. So it really does depend on many, many things. But yes, to answer your question, Sandy, Karula's territory is where we are right now, and Shadow is just on the periphery of it. So I've got my radio comms here aren't fantastic, folks, so I don't really know what Pete's up to. I haven't heard him on the radio. I can't really hear anything that's going on. The static here is very, very, very bad, but what I think we should do, so hopefully he'll come across another one or another predator, but I think there's also some wonderful elephant around and everything else as well. It's not all just about the big things, it's about the small things as well that make up this incredible place. And I think we're going to go over and cross to him very, very shortly. I'm just looking at this youngster who's about to move off. Brian, on your left. We're just going to sit and watch this little youngster for a second before we cross to Pete. Now he's just walked out. I'm just going to get a couple of pictures, folks. He's going to lie right down there for us. Little man has just literally laid down right in front of us. He's about probably 10 feet away from us at the moment. So as much as Pete's one of my best buddies, we might not cross just now because this cub's just come out. We'll cross in very, very shortly, but I'm sure if he was sitting here, he'd say just hold this for a little bit because we haven't seen this beautiful little cub for most of the morning, and he's laid down about 10 feet, 3 meters from us. Okay, well there's some beautiful little pictures of him. So what we'll do now is we'll cross to Pete, and I'm sure they look like they're going to be staying put, particularly while Mum's still finishing off that carcass, and she'll be there for some time. So if anything really exciting happens, I'll make sure we come straight back. But at the moment, they're setting, and we're going to cross over to Pete and see what he's up to. And please say thank you to him for me from everyone for bringing me in here this morning. Absolutely amazing gesture, and hats off to him. We'll see you just now.
Well guys, welcome back this side, and I don't need to ask you, I know you just had a good time. I know Hayden would have enjoyed it, and I know you guys would have enjoyed it, and quite happy that we could both see that leopard this morning. She can be a little bit tricky to get a good eye on, and I also believe you had a great view of the cubby at the end. So let's go around this one, don't worry, jump that one under a tree there. So lovely to see her. I'm glad Ashley could see her as well, and maybe this afternoon it was a steenbok to kill, so not that big. They might finish it in the course of the day, so I would say maybe by this afternoon we might still see her. By tomorrow probably that will be finished at the latest, so keep an eye on it. In the meantime, we've taken a drive down towards the Mulwati, which is the name of this riverbed we're driving in. This little sandy, but even though it looks like a little track, it's actually a dry riverbed. You'll often hear us referring to drainage lines, that's where it comes from. Makes for a good road, also makes for a beautiful drive. If just looking around, you'll see there's lovely big trees. I mean, look at this one here. It's a massive big jackalberry. These big trees, leadwoods, and some of the thorn trees, the acacias and so on. So it's just a beautiful drive. Always exciting, because you can't really see what's coming around the next bend until you're right on it. So it's a fantastic place just to look around in and see what you might find. Great for leopard, great for Ellie, great for buff, and great for just having a beautiful drive and having a bit of conversation. If you have anything to ask or something you want to talk about, send it through to us. Hashtag SafariLIVE if you want to tweet. Tweeting seems to be the sort of the chat conversation. And if you have a more specific question, you're welcome to email at questions@wildearth.tv. I can see no one's driven here. Well, it looks like for at least 2 or 3 days, no game drives, just looking at the tracks. There's old elephant tracks with hippo tracks on top of it, jackal tracks over that, hyena from last night over that. But nothing fresh, no big cats, not that I can see yet. We're going to keep looking around, keep our eyes on the road, see you back here in a bit.
Well, we're back, folks, with Shadow and her cub, and not a great deal has changed from the situation when you left us. Excuse me, please. If you've just joined us, we're sitting with Shadow, who is an adult female who has the oldest cub she's had in her history, actually. This cub's about 7 months old. It's a male. This is her oldest surviving cub. She hasn't had a great track record, unfortunately, in the past. Her territory slightly is overlapping into her mum's territory here. And she's normally over a bit on Arathusa, mainly, and we're on Juma at the moment. So, you know, they do overlap on the periphery. But we're with her cub, and her cub is that's Shadow feeding on a steenbok, which is a small antelope. Excuse me, please. I've got this bit of a husky voice thing going on at the moment. She's feeding. She's let her cub feed before her, and her cub has had his fill and is just sort of closing his eyes at the moment, off to the left. But she's finishing off this carcass, and then they'll probably try and find a spot to chill out for the rest of the morning. So we're going to stick with them, though, that's for sure. We've got just over an hour, and there's only one other vehicle sitting here with us. It's quite beautiful to see. You don't often see a cub and the mother. So we really want to stick with both of these animals. I'm pretty sure these guys are going to stay as they are, folks. So it's you know, you've got this beautiful little cub, which we've got some lovely pictures of, and also mum feeding. So I'm going to stick with them, and anything that happens, you know that I'll come back to you, of course. But I think we cross over to Pete and see what he's up to. I know he's getting around the reserves at the moment to find anything that he can. But let's cross over and see what he's got. I'm sure it's going to be exciting always with Pete. We'll see you just now.
Guys, well, as mentioned a few minutes back, glad you could see the leopard again. Looks like they're going to stick around for a bit. But we were just following the road, looking at tracks, looking for something, and we bumped into a lovely, lovely herd of elephant here. We just arrived with them, so we're going to look at what they're doing. There's a youngster there. Those two are playing just now. There's a nice big female here with him that doesn't actually have tusks. I remember her vaguely from past memory somewhere. As I said, we've just arrived, so we're at that stage now where I'm just sort of introducing our presence to the elephants. I don't want to go straight into the herd. You want to ease into it, get them comfortable with us. Not that they aren't, they are comfortable already. But it's just polite, you don't run into someone's house and start making coffee. You knock, you say hello, how are you? How's everything going? How's the family? And then you start making coffee and you start chatting. So it's the same with elephants. You just introduce yourself into the conversation rather than just barge into it. But it's a nice big herd. Looks like, I would say, at least 15, 20 individuals, maybe more. So we're going to stick with them a bit. There'll be some little ones. There'll be some big ones. I'm hoping for some teenage bulls. I saw one just now, a bull that looks about 15, 16, which can be a very fun age with elephant. They can be quite playful and interactive even sometimes with us. So let's see. This should be a elephant sighting we can sort of work on. Elephants are very different from, for instance, leopard that we're looking at the moment as well, in the sense that they very bright, very intelligent, and obviously herd animals. So you have to think of it more as communicating with them, how you enter the herd, how you enter the sighting, than for lions and leopard. They sort of pretty much mostly ignore you. With Ellies, how you introduce yourself to them, get a sense for their feeling as well. Some herds, sometimes you can feel that they're a bit tense. Maybe there was a bit of an argument in the herd. Maybe one female or one bull or something had a bit of tension amongst themselves or whatever. Maybe they were upset by a group of lions half an hour ago. We don't always know their social or their emotional state. So it's good just to get a feeling for what they're up to. My gut feeling already with this herd is they're super relaxed this morning. Very calm and tranquil feeling with them. It's also that kind of morning. It's a bit overcast, still a bit of cloud cover, nice and cool still. Perfect day to be an elephant. Perfect day to be on game drive. Around a little bit. Because while we're moving around, I'm just trying to see which is the best way around. Ideally, we want to sort of come in from the side, slightly to the front of the herd, so that we can join them in the general direction that they're moving in. So we're going to try and find a way in there. So it might be a bit thick, I might have to go back, but we'll find a good spot. I'm not leaving, don't worry. I'm just shifting our position and doing it in such a way, hopefully, that we can get some great interaction from these guys. Lisa, good morning. You're asking that hole that the elephants had dug a couple of days back, and then I went back there afterwards. I mentioned it in the riverbed a few minutes back, and then we just cleaned out the sand a bit, and we showed you how you can get water from under the sand. Just make sure I've got the question right though, but basically, have other elephants been back there, or will other elephants use that? Yeah, certainly. I mean, you won't find a herd like this necessarily drinking there. I mean, they need a lot of water, and even an elephant bull on his own might not quench his whole thirst there. I mean, he needs to drink 50, 60, 80 liters of water. That's like 20 gallons, 25 gallons of water a day. But he maybe drank that because it's nice clean water, because there's a good mineral content to it. So certainly other elephants would use it again. When I looked at it just now, it doesn't look like something else has been back there. But I'm hoping another elephant opens it up again, because I wouldn't mind showing that again to those of you that didn't see it. There's something very sort of, primal, if you want, about digging in the sand for water and getting the water. All right, here we're getting into the herd now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15 individuals that I can see just from here. So I'd say we're dealing with a decent sized herd here. Here the youngsters are playing with each other, even though we're moving. So again, showing you they're not perturbed by us. They're going on at their normal elephant thing. Youngsters are playing, adults are eating. Guys, look in front there, sorry. It's all happening around. That's the tricky thing for Andrew. It's where to look. That youngster was busy. Now he's chasing the other elephant. But he was, just as I laughed, he was chasing 2 francolins, those little birds that look like sort of miniature chickens or grouse. He was chasing the francolins away, and then he ran back to the other ellie to play. So there's a very nice, playful, excited, fun, nice, cool morning kind of feeling with this herd. I think we're going to take a seat just here. Would be a good place. Let's see, they're going to walk up to us. Awesome. Can't ask for more than this. Morning, guys. Hello. Having a look at us as well. They're all coming along. This one has got quite a nice set of tusks for a relatively young elephant. Good morning. The tusks can vary as well a little bit per area, in other words, relative to the conditions of where they live, and also per individual. Some elephants have bigger tusks than others. Some people have long brown hair and some people have blonde hair. Or shall I rather say thick hair and thinner hair. It just varies with elephants as well. That one should have a nice set of tusks when he's older. And let's see who's next. A bit of a... Lots of ellies, guys, and by the looks of it, they're heading... I would assume they're going to end up at Gari Waterhole later on today at Boyatella Lodge. That waterhole. Perhaps down towards Twin Dams, but the direction they're taking now means I'll go drink a Gari waterhole. I don't... maybe still in drive time this morning, depends on how they keep moving. But certainly in the course of the day, for you guys watching the waterhole, I think there's a very good chance of seeing a nice sized elephant herd coming to drink later on. Maybe before the end of drive. We're going to stick with these guys now, possibly for the rest of the morning. Hello, Tracy. Awesome to hear from down under. Tracy's saying hello from Australia. just in case. I can't remember that I've spoken to you recently or before. Hayden's also Australian, you might have noticed from his accent. Tracy's just asking if there's a reason for that sound that you can hear from the elephants. Some of the sounds you heard, most of them now, was actually me making it. There were a couple coming from the Ellies as well. Yeah, it's part of their communication. Elephants have got over 30 sounds that we know of. And I'm sure there's more that we don't understand yet because, you know, cheese and bees to us could sound very similar, but it's two different words. So who knows how many, you know, tonal differences elephants can pick up. But Tracy's asking if there's a specific reason. It's communication. So the broad spectrum answer is it's part of their communication. We can hear about a third of what elephants say. The rumbles, the trumpets. Then there's a lot of other sounds that we don't hear at all because the frequency is too low. We can't hear it with human ears. Just find the reverse gear. There we go. But for Ellies, they can communicate with low frequency sound, which is great because low frequency sound can cover big distance. It can really travel for many, many kilometers even. As I just spotted something, that elephant right in there, it's going to be difficult to see now. I'm going to get us closer. But there's a tiny, tiny little calf there. I don't think days old, but weeks rather than months. In other words, we'll get closer now, I'll see. But I would guess 1 or 2 months rather than 4 or 5 months. Tiny little guy. And Tracy, just over the years, it's a bit of a personal habit, I guess, that I've started mimicking that sound when I get into an elephant herd. I've never seen it as a negative. I have experienced it as a positive often. Guys, look at that. Little one, sticking close to mum's heels. That's a very young one. Elephant calves can be about 80 to 100 kilograms at birth. It's about, let's call it 150 to 250, 150 to 250 pounds at birth. Which is obviously very big, but not that big if you put it relative to the average size of a female elephant. Us as humans actually have got quite large babies relative to, you know, baby at birth weight compared to mother's weight. But nonetheless, 200 pound baby is something to look after. But these guys are moving nice and fast. I'm not going to put too much pressure on that youngster now. Give him time to get used to us moving around. I'm just looking at what are these Ellies doing. These guys are moving around. It's almost like they're split into two groups. Perhaps the others are just heading a little bit further south, but I do have a feeling that they're going to continue on together as one unit. It might actually be two little herds that have joined together a bit. There we go. That's a sort of head shake. It's almost like a greeting. That head shake, like, is just sort of like saying, you know, what's your story? What you doing here? You're coming to say hello? You're coming to look at me? You're coming to bother me? You're coming to ignore me? It was a half-hearted one. This elephant was right in front of us earlier. It's one of the ones that came and stood close to the vehicle. So we know he's curious about us. Eating a bit of grass. Give the elephant some privacy. Well, I think, you know, let's give these guys a moment. Hayden's got a different view and a better view of the leopard again, so you're going to join him for a bit. I'm going to move around a bit, just see where the habitat works best for us, just to get into the herd again. They've sort of spread out all over now, so we're not really going to keep up through the bush. So we'll get you back here in a bit for some elephants. In the meantime, enjoy the leopard and see you back shortly.
Well, we've just repositioned the vehicle, folks, and come up to Shadow, and she's really been fantastic. She didn't show any display of not wanting us to be where we are. We're about probably 3 to 4 meters away from her, about 10, just over 12 feet, maybe 15 feet away from her, and she was absolutely fine, and she's finishing off this steenbok, and you can hear her crunching through these bones. The cub is just there, and he's just finding a nice little spot to lie. So they'll have about 1 to 3 cubs. Survival rate is always dependent on the other predator population that's around, and any mishaps that can occur. And it's not just other mammalian predators. It can be reptiles as well. It can be rock pythons. It can be different species of raptors, of birds of prey, and the list goes on. So it is a pretty tricky world, being a cub of any predator. And the gestation period is about 90 to 100 days, roughly, and they have cubs over about sort of 2-year intervals. She's just really keeping her eyes open now, just in case something's coming along. She's got to be aware of her surroundings hugely, particularly at this vulnerable time when she's eating and her cubs just over there as well. She's sensing something. So we're sitting with the most adaptable big cat in Africa, or probably the world actually. Leopards do occur in Asia as well. And they're just the most incredibly adaptive cat. They're non-specific. They don't have a sort of special niche that they just sit into. They can feed on anything from beetles to crickets to lizards to right up to medium-sized. Hello, beautiful girl. It's okay. It's okay. It's the first interaction she's had with us since we've been here. So it's absolutely fine. She's completely comfortable, and if she wasn't comfortable, she'd move away, and we never want to get to that time. We've gotten her used to us for the last hour or so. So if you've just joined us, folks, I like to do little recaps throughout our time here with any animal, really. We're sitting with Shadow, who's the daughter of Karula, and she's also got a cub, and that little cub is 7 months old, a little male, and he is just over in the bushes to the right, but at the moment we're just watching her eat. Brian's moving across to give you a little picture of him right now. He's just sitting in there, and you can see that beautiful camouflage right in there. He's had his feed. He's been with that carcass for quite some time. His mum let him have his feed first, and then she went on in. But the cub decided to walk past his mum, and she gave him a really big snarl, as if to say, you know, you've had your fill, you've had your part, you've had your bit. It's my turn now. Stay away. So he's just gone and parked over there. Got a question from Tammy. It's okay, my girl. It's okay. It's okay. Got a question from Tammy. And Tammy, welcome aboard. Fantastic to have you with us. I'm talking quite softly because we are quite close and I don't want to startle her. So hence my voice being this quiet at the moment. Many of you will probably say that's a relief. My wife and son would probably say that. Tammy's question is, why aren't Shadow and her cub feeding together? Well, someone's got to stay alert and stay on point, really, guarding the potential of another predator coming. These animals, they're not in high numbers like lions, where you've got the power or the sort of muscle of the big heavyweights. You've got an animal that spends majority of its time in a solitary lifestyle and only coming together really to mate. Occasionally they will come in contact with each other when overlapping territories, but with the cub and mother situation, or cubs and mother situation, that mother has to keep watch hugely. Her senses and her understanding of the bush is much greater than the experience of her cub. So that's why she's stopping and looking up sometimes and wondering if she hears a sign or a sound. There wasn't a little alarm call of a bird over there before, and she stopped and looked over, and that's where you get the sort of bush newspaper type of idea, or that script of the bush, that everything interacts with each other and is a bit of a tapestry, a bit of a woven sort of tapestry of the bush. And there's so many things that us as adults probably humans don't even pick up. So to answer your question, it is really about keeping their eyes open, making sure that they look after each other and consuming that kill as quickly as they possibly can. And that's the reason why they're not eating together, and they eat alone, and so they can keep guard and survive. So thanks for your question, fantastic, and welcome aboard if you've just joined us. But if you've been here for quite a while with us, fantastic to have you again with us on this brilliant morning with Shadow and her cub. Okay, folks, well, I think she's getting to the end of her meal here, so we might just cross over to Pete and see what he's up to, and as soon as she gets to the end, she might move into a closer position with her cub. She seems to have a little bit of bone stuck there or something, but she seems to have swallowed it now. Let's cross over to Pete and see what he's up to with those Ellies. We'll see you just now.
Well, leopard back to elephant. We've not caught up with the herd again, but moved around a bit. We found our way to a track. This is one of the teenagers, or looks like a young female, just grazing here. She was under a torchwood tree looking for a few old seeds, but didn't find much. For those of you that have been following us for the last many months or years even, we did have a very dry season this year. The rains came, well, almost not at all. There was great concern for winter, and then we had late rains, which means now we can actually sit in the month of May, and this elephant is still eating nice green grass. So there was a bit of life sort of breathed back into the bush with this last rain. Lots of food around for them. I just want to catch up with the rest of the herd again. This was just a very nice setting. You'll see just the general area here. It's a bit of an open little clearing here around this big tree. This is the torchwood tree that I mentioned, this big one. And it is really a big one. If you look up into it, probably 10, 12 meters tall. 30 foot, something like that. I'm going to try and keep up with this herd. The rest of them are up that way a little bit. Oh, let's just see. I thought this elephant was quite curious about us earlier, but then she lost a bit of interest. Now, speaking of curious, if there's anything you want to talk about or have a question about, or even just a topic, I mean, keep in mind, you don't have to say, you know, what is this? You could say, this is what I think. What do you guys think? In other words, if you want to just have a little discussion about something, elephants would be a great one, since we're looking at one. Feel free to send the questions in via Twitter, hashtag SafariLIVE, or you can email them questions@wildearth.tv. Let's move a little bit. Speaking of questions, great question, Jake. How's it, Jake? Jake is joining us from South Carolina. Jake, if you could let us know where in South Carolina, that would be quite cool. I lived in South Carolina for about 3.5 possibly, you know, one elephant, a couple of bulls. I'm just going to go around the bush. That elephant's walking in the other direction, and if we just get along the side, we should get a good view when it comes out. Jake, so firstly, animals behave very differently towards people on foot as opposed to a vehicle. Because on foot, they react to us as another animal, mainly as one that they either are afraid of or at least wary of. Whereas on a vehicle, they get used to vehicles and they sort of treat them more like part of the sort of, there's a good word that I can't remember now, but sort of static or passive environment. That's the word I'm looking for. So vehicles are treated much more as like a passive subject, like a tree or a rock or a, you know, an animal that's not really bothering the other animals. And animals have learned over time that vehicles don't bother them. This is just the basic ABCs of elephant hiding. There's a big elephant there. Might not look like it. All right, guys, we're going to move a little bit. So, Jake, they with vehicles, they tend to ignore them. In this area especially, they've seen lots of vehicles. They've been habituated to vehicles now since the advent, really, of ecotourism. Oh, sorry, that's something on the steering column. In areas where they don't see vehicles, they can be wary of vehicles just because it's strange to them. But on foot, animals, again, it depends a bit on what interaction or what behavior they find with humans. If it's a place where there's no aggression towards them, no poaching, no hunting, no bothering, no harassing, they can be very calm with people on foot. But they will still be very much aware of you and potentially be threatened by you. So it does depend, and then it also depends on their mood of the day. You know, that they maybe have encountered lions recently, or they're a bit stressed. And then individual to individual can vary a lot as well, both vehicles and on foot. Some animals, elephants specifically, are very easy to approach. We had this great bull elephant here called Wonky. He would come and stand right by the car, even on foot. You could walk around with him to an extent. It just depends a little bit on a whole sort of mixture of circumstances and considerations. This, guys, if you've just joined us back here, this is a young elephant we're following now, sort of in the process of keeping up with the herd. Although having said that, the majority of the herd is now further ahead. We're coming up to the Mulwati riverbed, which is very, very thick. I've been here, Jack, to add on to your question, both on foot and in a vehicle. Certainly it's easier on foot in here, but it's very, very thick. So rather than try and bundabash through this, I'm going to take us back to the road and we're going to take a drive around to the other side. It feels like these elephants are picking up their pace a little bit, maybe heading down towards Gari Waterhole. So let's see if we can confirm that or not. Again, great question, Liz. All the way from Wisconsin, coming onto Game Drive. Nice hearing some new names as well. Make no mistake, guys, it's brilliant hearing names we've known for a long time. Many of you, as you know, I've known for a long time, you've known me for a long time. But it's nice to hear some new names as well. Not that you want Liz. About 3 Liz's that's been coming on drive for a long time. Anyway, Liz, you asking if elephants' tusks grow or continue growing. Short answer, yes. And to explain it a little bit, not only do they keep on growing, but especially in the case of bull elephant, there's a nice one. Bull elephant, their tusks actually start growing faster. And this one is also moving along. We're not going to follow him. It's a young bull. It starts growing faster when they get older. So a bull elephant of this guy we're looking at here is about 15, no, maybe a bit older, maybe 18, something like that. But when he's getting towards his 20s and 30s, it'll pick up a little bit. And then from about early mid-30s, 33, 35, going into their 40s, which is the sort of prime time for the bull elephants. That's where they're at their physical peak, both in terms of physical size and strength and ability to put on muscle and weight. Their tusks start to grow faster. So obviously giving them bigger tusks, which means again benefits them in the sort of dominance game with other bulls. A couple of them there. Maybe it's better to go in here. I think it's too far to go around all the way on the road. Then we'll be further away from them. It seems we've got a section of the herd to the left. Poke my nose in here. See if we've got a bit of a group here. If we've got a nice group, we'll sit with them. Otherwise, we might pop back to the leopard. Let's just see if one outweighs the other. I got that a bit late. Here's a nice hilly. Okay, that's why we heard the noise. Snap that whole branch over. You can see right by the elephant's front leg that white wood. And this is the tree that it's eating is called buffalo thorn. Quite tasty leaves. They eat the bark as well sometimes. They eat the leaves. They eat the roots on occasion. There we go. He's going to give us, not he, sorry, it's a she. Big female. Some of the bark. If you look very carefully, she just sort of crunched it off the trunk itself. And this is another, let's call it not a misconception, but a perception people often have of elephants, is that they destroy the environment, they do so much damage. Now, keep in mind, elephants have been along for a very, very, very long time. And the habitats have survived very well with elephants there. And it's crucial to have animals that open up areas. In small ways, your browsers, things like a kudu or an impala or a giraffe, they help as well because they sort of prune back the bushes when eating them. Same as buffalo and zebra would be doing to the grass, they're mowing it. But you need something sometimes that can open up things a little bit, and that's what elephants do. They push down a few trees, and in doing so, they open up the bush, not only in terms of the physical space, but also in terms of light. So in this case now, if you look at this sort of the bigger picture here, she's broken the street open, which means now that grass that was growing under it can get more sunlight, and also those branches to the right. So in this area, off on this side, that whole area now is becoming this little micro environment. There's some thorn twigs and bushes and branches there now, so you might find a little bird can make a nest there, or some of the rodents might start living there. And the grass growing there has got a great opportunity to grow with protection from grazers. So all these things play a role in how the environment changes a little bit. And to just say elephants destroy the environment would be a very short-sighted or limited view on things. It's important to have big animals like this around that keep the environment open for other animals. And a perfect timing from that Ellie. I think let's do one more question quickly, and then perhaps we go and have a look at that leopard again. Hello, Anna Marie. A popular name in South Africa as well. Anna Marie's from New Jersey. Asking. I've just gone totally blank. Anna Marie, what were you asking again, please? Yes. How many times a year do elephant females go into estrus? Estrus is when they go into like the reproductive state. Well, it can be 0. A female with the calf might be 2 or 3 years before she goes into estrus again. So you could really say once every few years only. And then normally for a slightly extended period of time, 1 to 3 months even, to make sure that the opportunity to find the perfect, the biggest, best male, the guy with the most beautiful ears and the longest tusks and the access to the best waterholes kind of thing, that you can find him. Oh, guys, here's that baby. We were going to go to HT, but here's the little guy we followed earlier. Awesome. Oh, those baby animals are always cute. We know this, but that one still fits under the mother. We'd put it under 3 months at a first glance, and I would go less than that. I would say probably between 1 and 2 months old. It's got decent balance. Look at how it's scratching its back leg. So again, showing you that it's not a little tiny pipsqueak anymore, just a sort of average size pipsqueak. Oh, awesome. Right under mum's chest. Sorry guys, I just love Ellies and these little guys. You see this one? Oh, he's getting stuck in the bushes. Wait, Mom, I can't get... And look at that. Immediately she's there. Huh? Their family support structure, mum to baby, but even cousin and sisters and brothers and elephants in the unit. Their concern and sensitivity and help towards the new babies in the herd is amazing. They truly are a family unit. Nice bit of sunlight coming through as well. You'll notice the light's changing. We've got the overcast sort of cloud/mist that we had earlier seems to be burning off now. There's another youngster. Hello. That's rad. Oh, little baby. Okay, let's go around once more. If we can get another good look. Otherwise, we'll go from the baby Ellie. Hello. You see the ears up. Look at the ear position there. Just a little bit aware of us. I'm just going to stop again. Not bothered or not afraid, guys. Please, you must realize that by now we've been following these elephants. I haven't really kept track of time, but it was just showing that that female was listening to us. She didn't turn around. She didn't face us. She didn't try and tell us that she's listening. She was just seeing what are they doing, because we're driving right behind her. She can't see us. She was just listening. Oh, can you hear that? Here's a little rumble. And it looks like the calf is suckling now. This one is... Beautiful colors on the leaves there. Just look at the sort of the subtle yellows and beiges coming in. We are in autumn, but because we had this late rain, it's greener than it would normally be. And we've had some, not strange, I mean it's normal behavior, it's nature, it does what it does, but had a few of the trees flushing new leaves again, the marulas for instance, which is quite funny. But a lot of the trees also, in this case, the Combretum apiculatum, or the red bush willow, the leaves that we can see there. A lot of these trees would also start changing the leaves already, because trees don't only respond to rain or not rain, or to summer and winter. Their main trigger... Nice. Bit of trumpeting going on there. We're sitting in a herd and they seem to have spread out over... See, they're talking again. There's definitely a bit of chit-chat going on now. They're sort of over a 400-500 yard. I've got probably close to a 50% chance of actually finding them at the water towards the end of drive. But we'll see how that goes. But, sorry, just quickly to finish on the trees. The trees actually respond quite a lot to length of day. So even if it's raining late or early, or if the rains come late after winter, the trees will start flushing again, even if it hasn't rained, because the length of day and the exposure to sunlight actually plays a big role in it. So that's why a lot of these trees are starting to change their color a little bit, getting into autumn and obviously to winter. But for now, these ellies are all spread out. I'm going to try and catch up to them again, and I think we're going to go back to HT, see what those leopards are up to. We've had a brilliant morning. Baby ellie, baby leopard, beautiful morning temperature-wise, so let's enjoy the last part of the drive.
Well, we're still with Shadow and her cub, folks, and it's been quite a beautiful time just to sit with them. She's completely relaxed with us. She gave us one little reminder of who, you know, always beautiful just to sit with those ellies and watch their antics, and particularly with the babies. So what a beautiful morning it's been. We're still with Shadow and her cub, as I said, and if you've just joined us, Shadow is what a beautiful morning it's been. We're still with Shadow and her cub, as I said, and if you've just joined us, Shadow is the daughter of Karula, and this is her most successful rearing of a cub, the oldest she's ever reared. She hasn't had a fantastic track record. But going back, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on one of the questions that was asked. There was a question asked about at what age are they weaned, and I think it's, you know, to say you can't really give an exact date or a month. They can be weaned as early as 3 months, but they're still, when I said that, I think I brushed over that too quickly. They're dependent on their parent for their mother for up to a year. So it's really important to know that they're still around, and they'll be just starting to venture off. The more that time goes on, the less time she spends, and she can go away for sometimes, you know, a full day period of 24 hours when she's guarding or protecting larger kills. So when they are up into that, in that dependent period, the first early stages, she'll spend like more than half the day with the cubs, and then as time goes on, she slowly ventures further afield, leaving them in a safe spot. But yeah, it's very complex. There's lots of factors afield, leaving them in a safe spot. But yeah, it's very complex. There's lots of factors that contribute to the survival. It just depends on the location, it depends on the predator, and hopefully they get through those hardest times, and she can have a cubs that survives. but she's definitely finished off this Steenbok, which is a small antelope. She would have caught this morning. Gorgeous face, this cat, looking straight at me at the moment. It's okay, my girl. It's all right, my girl. She is quite the business, isn't she? Looks like she's going to move over and see. She's still looking around for scraps, but I think she's going to go and see her cub now, make sure he's all right. She's just moved over the other side of that vegetation. She's licking her lips, and she'll probably spend a bit of time cleaning herself up. Cats, all the cats, domestic and wild, have all got that tendency to clean themselves up, lick their paws, groom themselves. So she's on the move, and she's either finding a place. We've got her little cub coming back into shot now, just to see if there's any morsels left over. And it's really interesting behaviour to watch, folks, that he's sat over there. His mum gave him the cue to stay away when she was having her feed. So he'd already had his share. She finished it off, and he's come back to see if there's any little scraps left over. I'm predicting that if there's not, he'll go and follow her, but I doubt that she's moved very far from him. She's probably just moved off over. Yeah. We're just going to keep up with her and him. Direct me back there, please, mate. Folks, I'm just trying to negotiate this area. We're going to try and get over a little bit closer there. I could go around the other way. Still good, mate? As you can imagine, we don't have rear view mirrors in these vehicles. I rely on Brian to be my eyes in the sky, my rear view mirror, my right hand man, everything, mate. Many different roles. So we're just moving around now, folks, to see where she is. She's just laid down over here in the grass. Into a nice position here. How's that for you, mate?
Need to go back a little bit. I can get the cover as well.
Just moving into position, folks. Let's see. Is that good?
Yeah, it's good.
So the whole process now that happens is that she's going to sit there and groom herself as we predicted. It's typical cat behaviour after a really big meal like that, to groom themselves and clean themselves, and then I imagine that she's going to become a flat cat, what we call a flat cat, which is a sleeping puss cat, a sleeping big cat that's going to lie down and just get out of the heat of this big day. Wow, what an incredible sight to see. Cub in the background. That's lovely to see, isn't it? That's a beautiful two-shot there with the cub in the background, that little bit of sunshine on his face. I did take a lot of photographs before to ID him, so we can keep him in our records. It's really important that we get really good facial pictures of the cats to keep a record of who's who. But at the same time, as I said before, I really rely on you to help me with this, because I don't see these cats every day, and many of you that have been watching Wild Earth and Safari Live for years have got fantastic knowledge, oodles and oodles of knowledge out there. The cub wants to come closer to his mum, and she just gave him the look to say, just stay back for a second, I'm not done yet.
Do you have name, please?
There's lots of body language that occurs, and lots of posture, and lots of, she's going to come up, and he's a beautiful little guy, isn't he? Beautiful bit of parental bond there. Look at that. Oh, that is just beautiful, eh?
Yeah, stand up, I'll try and get around. That's fine.
Just going in the shade of this tree here. Figure out what they do. They could do anything. They could find a little shady spot just in there, or move through. I just want to orientate the vehicle so we are in the same direction as them, but I think that this little guy is just going to walk right in front of us. And I think he's just doing a little bit of investigating there. I'm not sure where Mum is. Mum's back further. She might have gone back to the kill area just to see if there's any last little morsels. He's having a bit of a play here in front of us, pouncing on a few things, and it's actually not this time. So they're still active, they're still walking around. He's going back to look for his mum. And she's coming through now, so she's probably going to walk right into our shot. I've got my eye on her, Brian's got his eye on the cub, and he's going to move around. Just watch her. I'm not sure what she's going to decide to do. She's about 2 meters away from us at the moment. She's picking up scent. Oh, I can see what it is. Right now, all the picture fits together. I just want to watch their behaviour first, because he's in a real playful mood, and I'll come back to the serval. You see just there, Brian, it's not a great spot for you, mate, but I'm going to just move back. My boy. It's okay, my boy. Can you see, Brian? Going on right in front of us. This is like 2 or 3 meters, about 10 feet from us, and this is why we do what we do. Too beautiful. So, that's exactly what we were talking about. Still dependent and still very, very tight. Carry on, Mum. I'm just going to take a few photographs, folks, because this is just too beautiful to see at the moment. And I do apologise. But this is why just beautiful. This is real bonding, beautiful. Oh, you're a beautiful girl. She's really cleaning him up, her little guy. Looking after her cub. The light is magnificent. We are in a beautiful spot. And both of these cats are so relaxed with us. Lovely little vocalization from the cub there. Mum just sat on him then. I know you've got a couple of branches in the way, folks, but I just don't want to impinge on what's going on for them. It's really a tender moment there happening between a mother and a cub. And we're just going to go and see what they do. Wasn't that magic?
Oh, fantastic.
Wow, wow, wow. That's what Wild Safari Live's all about. Being with these beautiful creatures and watching that natural behaviour just happen in front of our very eyes. So these noises that you can hear, these branches and small sort of sticks that are sticking up, they sound a lot worse than they actually are, folks, because they're just running underneath the bottom of the car. It doesn't affect, you can see that the cats themselves aren't worried about it. I just go nice and gently and slowly. It's all about just going gently and calmly. I'm just going to, they're really into each other at the moment. So I'm going to just go up nice and slowly here and just get Brian a good shot and then turn the car off. Oh, the car will turn off by itself. Sorry about that, girl. Is that alright for you, mate?
You go a little bit further forward.
It's okay, girl.
Yeah, I just had one stick in the way, but
Tender moment that you're seeing of grooming and the mother caring for her offspring, her oldest cub that she's ever raised. So this is a great privilege to be sitting here, anecdotes and so on and just looking and the anecdotes and so on and just looking at two amazing animals interacting mother and son. He doesn't look like he's enjoying that at all, does he? Oh, this is just a pleasure, absolute pleasure. He really wants his mum to continue. He's just rolled over. And this is typical behaviour too after a big feed with mother and cubs. She'll always clean the cubs up and look up, rubbing herself on territorial markings. You don't know also, we don't know what other scents are on any of these trees or something, hey? Just let them be for a little bit. We've still got them in vision, of course. I know they're just around the corner, but I want to just give them a little bit of space. We don't have to be too close, as long as we can keep them visual and we've got a nice picture there. I'll just go around now. She's just moving around the back. Going to focus on actually I might go around the other way and not follow on with these guys and just see if they're around the other way, Brian. So folks, just bear with me, I'm going backwards. Oh, sorry mate. I just want to see. I'll tell you what, why don't we go and see what Pete's up to whilst I'm just repositioning, because I really want to see what he's got. It's always a surprise with Pete, that's for sure. And I'll come back to you just now. If anything exciting happens, I promise I'll be right back. Let's cross over to Pete, and we'll just see you now.
Well, we don't have elephants at this waterhole, but they have been here, as we can see clearly from the tracks and the dung. A little bit of news that we can read around the waterhole. But from our side for now, firstly, great viewing there. I believe it was some special sort of mum and baby moments, a bit of grooming, very, very important grooming for social bonding as well, apart from the practical cleaning aspect. But from our side, it's been a beautiful morning, great leopard, fantastic seeing Shadow, fantastic spending the morning with him, maybe more of it this afternoon, I think. Great Ellies, that baby elephant was something that I loved this morning. And just altogether beautiful morning, great weather, not too hot, so we should have a fantastic afternoon as well. We came past Buffelshoek Dam. Not too much going on here, but it will be busy later on. Same for Gari Waterhole. That herd of elephants were heading that way, so keep an eye on the waterhole for you guys that like the waterholes as well. And I just want to say, as always, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you as my guest. My name is Peter Pretorius. Andrew, nice being in the vehicle with you on camera. And we will see you again this afternoon for another live safari in the African bush, live and happening. So join us for that. Bye-bye.
Really lovely bit of behaviour going on here. It's claw scratching, claw sharpening by both of them. They've just moved off a little bit here. I'm just going to just sit here so Brian can get a picture of Shadow. Is that nice, Brian?
Yeah, it's good.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. I just want to take a photograph of that, folks, if that's okay. Ah, so beautiful, this cat. They're having some fun together. What an amazing, amazing morning this has been. And I have to say, folks, this is a big thank you to... Just grab that right. There's that stick plate. Oh, sorry, buddy. Big thank you to Peter for this. This is all he's doing here, bringing us in on this, and this is really in his honour. And thank you, all of you. I just want to give a couple of thank yous right now, because all of you have been absolutely incredible this morning with all your information, your knowledge, and helping me. It's just been very, very special, and thanks so much. I really, really appreciate it. I'm sorry you're looking at the back of my head all the time. It's just that I'm not turning around to camera as much because I really want to just keep an eye on these two. And as you can see, they're just standing out there. She's just surveying the area. She may go across into Arathusa, which is just that line just along there. You can see that line. That is the road, and she's got to cross that, but she's coming out into open area, so she's just watching herself there. Out in open ground now. Just watch where she goes. Up that beautiful tree. I have a feeling she might go up onto the top of that termite mound there. I'm just going to move forward, see if she does. I have a funny feeling she's going to go up. Oh, yes, she has. Isn't that lovely? Look at that, Brian. Right on the top of that termite mound, and her cub's going to follow her up. I had a funny feeling she was going to do that. It's just such a beautiful vantage point there. She's moving down the other side, or is she still up there, Brian?
No, she's just gone down.
Okay, we'll just move in. Folks, I might start to just let me get into position so we can still see a little bit of... Oh, there she is. There she is. Beautiful. I'm going to talk to you whilst Brian's got beautiful vision there of those two cats, and start to sign off because I've got about 2 minutes to go. And I just want to thank you all for your wonderful feedback and support this morning, and your questions and the interaction that we've had on Wild Safari Live. And it's just a reminder of how special this project is, what we do here with all of you. You're all a huge part of it, and my line is always, we wouldn't be able to do it without you. It's just fantastic. Just really important to be involved in it, and great to have you with us. Now, I just want to say one thing. There's not going to be a fireside chat this weekend. We've got two consecutive fireside chats the following weekend. So we're not doing one tonight. We're preparing for two big ones in the next weekend. So just a gentle reminder on that. You know what? I'm not going to follow these guys anymore. I'm going to let them go off into the distance now, and just say thank you to them as well, even though, you know, we all know that animals can't understand. But Brian, I'm not sure if you can see. I might just go on a little bit so you can see her go off into the distance. Can you see her there, mate? She's just walking down there into the distance. We don't need to follow them right up to the wire. We can let them be now. We've had an unbelievable morning with those two cats. And I just want to thank Brian. Absolutely beautiful work. I want to thank everyone that assisted with that this morning. But the biggest thank you is to Peter Pretorius for bringing us in on that. Amazing job. And that's the first massive interaction I've had with a cub and the mother on Juma and Arathusa. So, farewell, my friends. An absolutely beautiful morning. You saw it with us on Wild Safari Live. If you've got any questions, give them to us at hashtag SafariLIVE or questions@wildearth.tv. We are going to see you again very soon. Thanks so much. We'll see you later this afternoon. Bye now from Brian and I.